Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. My email is tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing a watch that was launched for 2021. This is the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra Small Second. Playing on the Aqua Terra's reputation as the surf turf Seamaster, the one that has the most elegance and versatility on land, the watch takes its center second and converts it to a graceful small second, giving it a little bit more of a dress watch ambiance. When combined with the Sedna red gold, the stainless steel, and this lovely metallic blue dial, you get one of the most elegant watches ever to wear the Seamaster name. At 41 millimeters in diameter, it's also a versatile size. 13.5 millimeters thick and from lug tip to lug tip, 47.6 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that dial beautifully matches my cuff. By the way, the watch would easily fit underneath my cuff. I could see this watch wearing well on a wrist as small as 14, maybe even 13.5 centimeters circumference. Being under 48 millimeters lug to lug, it really is quite compact. And the most definitive angle, which I will show you now, is the down the barrel shot, where you can see how far inboard of the edge of my wrist those lugs are, and I'm pulling the bracelet tight, which exaggerates the width of the watch. It's even more compact than it looks. A wonderfully versatile watch for him and for her, personally. I think this could be a unisex model. I think there's a grace to it, and the color scheme, which I prefer to think of as tritone, because I find that the blue is integral to the look. It's very versatile, and I do think this is a supremely elegant take on the Aqua Terra. The bracelet is similar to the case, which is to say you have stainless steel, and then you have Omega's Sedna red gold, so 5N red gold with a higher percentage of copper to make it redder, and then a higher percentage of materials like palladium to make it fade resistant. We do have an integrated end link which closes the gap to the case, but this is basic integration. This is not Patek Philippe, Nautilus, or Audemars Piguet Royal Oak integration. We have a little bit of taper from the bracelet down toward the clasp. Outer faces are polished, shoulders are satin, the centers are red gold. We have removable links fixed by screws, and note the presence of intermediate sized links in case you are in between sizes. We have a double folding clasp with thick gauge steel. You see it's a sequential close. One side closes before the other. Omega logo externally, polished twin triggers. You can see they're polished nicely. Detailing is excellent. You have to press both triggers for this clasp to open, so it is solid as you would expect on a watch that still has very solid sports watch credentials, being loomed automatic, mostly steel, and 150 meters water resistant, shock resistant, and anti-magnetic. We have the 2017 Aqua Terra dial layout and case profile, which is to say the crown has less shear guard profiling around its shoulders than it had pre-2017. We also have a little bit of an inverse cone where the outer face of the crown is a little bit broader than the inner side of it. We have a combination of polish and media blast on the crown, which is a screw down, again 150 meters water resistance. In 2017, the date on the Aqua Terra moved from 3 o'clock down to 6. That's where it is today. We have a bezel in Sedna red gold with a vertical lip and then a conical profile, and we have those inward beveled and outward beveled lyre style lugs for which Omega Seamasters and Speedmasters have been famous since the early 60s. On the dial side, no shortage of luminescence. This watch is quite well loomed. You'll appreciate that the small seconds also loomed, so you can see the watch is running in the dark. Taking a quick look at the dial, there's a downwardly stepped satinated silver track against which you can read minutes. And then we have lovely faceted applique rose gold hour indices, the hands at center, contrast finished. You can see their centers are satinated, but their outer profiles are polished for better contrast. If you look at the indices from different angles, you can see that different facets of those indices are polished and satinated, so attention to detail is excellent for a mass market watch. We have the second generation teak deck concept, which are these striations that run across the dial. They were vertical on the original iteration. Post 2017, they have been lateral, and you can see that their spacing's a little bit irregular, like the actual teak deck of a yacht would be. There's a metallic sunburst that's radiating out across these striations, and it has that lovely blue metallic, almost pearlescent effect. We have a rose gold frame for the small seconds. It's dropped with a blue circle at center and then then a track allowing you to read the seconds themselves. There's a downward faceted step to the date disc, which I like because it's not just a sheer vertical cut through the dial. And then we have an upscale look with applied Omega marquee and logo, and you can see those have been satinated, so a lot of detail going on here. Two ways to set this watch. The first is you just pull the crown out all the way. Now you stop the seconds hand, you've activated hacking, you can set the watch to a reference time to the second. You can also move the hour hand independently. Note the watch keeps ticking, the minute hand doesn't change, and you have the ability to drive the date forward or backwards depending on which direction you're crossing the international date line. Turning it all over, you can see here we have a movement specific to this model. Based on the 8900, it is the 8916 38 joules bidirectional automatic winding twin barrel 60-hour power reserve. It has a beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is a Swatch group-wide beat rate for silicon hairsprings, and it does have an anti-magnetic silicon hairspring. It's also got an anti-magnetic escapement balance and balance staff, so this watch, through the Matas Master Chronometer certification, tested over 15,000 Gauss magnetism in its evaluation. Over 15,000 Gauss is immense. Remember, Rolex used that old term 1000 Gauss for its anti-magnetic watches. Well, its watches are more than that today, but I don't think they're over 15,000. This watch is virtually amagnetic. It also has a full balance bridge and a full free-sprung balance architecture with all the timing adjustments done using variable inertia bolts on the balance. So the watch is very shock tolerant and it can take a very precise 6-position adjustment. Part of the Master Chronometer certification includes full assembled watch testing, not bare movement, but full assembled testing of chronometry in 6 positions, not the COSC's 5, shock resistance, anti-magnetism, winding efficiency, power reserve. All of the durability factors that go into wearing a watch, including watertight integrity. So this watch has been exhaustively tested against a master chronometer battery created by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology and Omega. Now we have a tri-level coaxial escapement, which is a double impulse, direct and indirect impulse system invented by George Daniels of England. It is tangential contact rather than sliding friction as you'd find on a standard Swiss lever. So that tangential contact creates less friction, which improves power reserve, precision, and longevity between services. And it's probably still the most exotic escapement you can buy for under $50,000. With 2 barrels in series, you don't have a lot of surge in time. You don't gain a lot of time when the watch is fully wound, nor do you lose time after 18, 24, or 36 hours. That's one of the advantages of the 2-barrel movement. We have arabesque Côte de Genève across the bridges and rotor. We have machined but handsome beveled, and a combination of polished and blackened screws, an unusual look with engine turning on the base plate and satination on the wheels. So lots to love. And again, a 60-hour power reserve automatically wound. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.